Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of October 2025. India is actively addressing over 65 non-tariff barriers impacting its marine and agricultural exports to Russia, aiming to reduce a significant trade deficit. Key concerns include obtaining approval for Indian marine product units for shrimp exports, a crucial step for diversifying shipments after US tariffs. Reserve Bank of India's new proposal will allow banks to fund mergers and acquisitions. This change is expected to reduce fee income for debt capital market bankers. Previously, non-bank lenders and private funds dominated this financing. Now, banks entering this space may compress spreads and increase competition. This shift impacts how M&A deals are financed in India. Bira 91 has been wrestling with financial strain. For the year ended March 2024, the parent company B9 Beverages reported revenue of about Rs 638 crore and a net loss of roughly Rs 748 crore. The loss followed a sharp drop in sales and has left the business reliant on external capital to cover working capital and liabilities. More than 250 employees have reportedly submitted a petition to the board and major investors seeking a leadership change and the removal of CEO Ankur Jain. The petition cites delayed salaries, unpaid dues, and alleged governance lapses as the principal grievances. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu on Friday announced that tech giant Google will invest Rs 88,000 crore over 3 years in data centers and artificial intelligence projects in Vizag, indicating that this would be the single largest investment since the introduction of financial reforms in independent India. The Chief Minister called it a game changer. In a landmark decision, the State Cabinet of Karnataka approved the Karnataka Menstrual Leave Policy 2025 that will ensure 1 day's paid leave in a month across government and private sectors. With this decision, Karnataka becomes the first state to cover both the government and private sectors in its menstrual leave policy. Odisha and Bihar have policy for government employees, while Kerala has implemented the policy in universities. Swedish telecom gear maker Ericsson is preparing for commercial rollout of 6G by 2028-2030, with artificial intelligence expected to be a core building block of next-generation networks. India's manufacturing base, expanding 5G footprint, and robust R&D ecosystem have made it one of the Ericsson's top 5 focus markets globally. The company has been manufacturing in India since 1994, long before government incentives like the Production Linked Incentive or PLI scheme were introduced. Its Pune factory, recently scaled up for 5G, now contributes to exports. Reserve Bank of India is launching a Digital Payments Intelligence Platform or DPIP that will use AI to detect and prevent payment frauds in real time. Initially, a negative registry will flag suspicious entities, with the platform expanding to analyze transactions and assign risk scores for preventive measures. Investors anticipate a robust debut for LG Electronics India's IPO, which saw overwhelming subscription. Analysts point to attractive valuations, a debt-free status, and strong returns as key drivers. Despite a slight dip in grey market premium due to broader market sentiment, the company's competitive pricing and solid business outlook suggest significant listing gains, potentially around 30 to 35%. India is set to invest 6.4 trillion rupees in massive transmission plan. This initiative aims to harness over 76 gigawatts of hydroelectric power from the Brahmaputra basin by 2047. The plan focuses on developing numerous projects in the northeastern states. This move is crucial for meeting India's growing electricity demand and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. EPFO has extended the deadline for filing EPF returns from September to October 22, 2025 to accommodate employers adapting to the new revamped ECR system. The Labour Ministry stated that the awareness programs and interactive sessions are being conducted to ensure a smooth transition and timely error-free filing. Banks in India and their overseas branches have been permitted to lend in Indian rupees to persons resident in Bhutan, Nepal and Sri Lanka, facilitating cross-border trade transactions, the Reserve Bank of India said on Monday. In January 2025, the RBI permitted Indian exporters to open foreign currency accounts with a bank outside India for the realization of export proceeds. Unutilized balances in these accounts are required to be repatriated by the end of the month next to the date of realization. It has now been decided that the period for repatriation shall be extended up to 3 months in case of foreign currency accounts maintained with a bank in the IFSC in India. Taiwanese multinational electronics contract manufacturer Foxconn has committed to invest Rs 15,000 crore in Tamil Nadu, a move that will create 14,000 jobs in the state. Foxconn has been rapidly expanding its electronics manufacturing and research footprint in India, with major new investments in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and other states. France-based CMA CGM, the world's third biggest container carrier, sees India as an alternative for building small, liquefied, natural gas-powered box ships after signing a letter of intent with Cochin Shipyard for constructing 6 such ships for about $300 million. This is the first container ship order ever to be placed by a global mainline ship operator in India and an inflection point for the industry. Finance ministers and central bankers gathering in Washington for the annual meetings of the International Monetary Fund face a global trading system in disarray. Uncertainty over the dollar's standing and the likely course of interest rates and financial markets that are for now unnervingly complacent. Public debt has surged significantly since the pandemic. Governments spent heavily to combat the crisis, and this spending has not been reversed. Debt levels are now higher than before the pandemic and are projected to grow further. This poses a serious risk to economies worldwide. India's mobile phone exports surged by 95% year-on-year in September, reaching over $1.8 billion despite a historically lean period. For April to September, exports hit $13.5 billion, with the US being the largest destination, accounting for nearly 70% of the total. This growth highlights India's strengthening mobile manufacturing ecosystem and global reliability. South Korean chipmaker Samsung Electronics Co. is accelerating efforts to secure talent in India, a country emerging as a key hub for semiconductor design capabilities. This move is seen as part of Samsung's broader global strategy to strengthen its semiconductor design capabilities and leadership in the era of artificial intelligence and high-performance computing. The Indian semiconductor market is projected to reach $100 billion by 2030, with major global players such as Micron Technology Inc. already making significant investments. Cloud9 Hospitals is stepping into a pivotal role in the maternity and pediatric care space, as it engages in advanced discussions to acquire Apollo Cradle and Children's Hospital at a valuation of around Rs 1,500 crore. Having signed an exclusivity pact, Cloud9 has kicked off due diligence procedures. Emirates NBD Bank is in advanced talks to invest Rs 15,000 crore in RBL Bank, aiming to become its largest shareholder with a 51% stake. The deal pending RBI approval, will expand the UAE bank's Asian footprint and tap into the India-Middle East remittance market. RBL Bank share price has surged in anticipation of this significant foreign investment. India's industry faces a new challenge as China tightens export controls. These measures now include components with rare earth magnets. This will impact sectors like automotive, consumer electronics, and industrial machinery. Companies were just recovering from demand surges. The restrictions are extensive and will affect imports of crucial parts and magnets. US luxury watchmaker Fossil Group is reportedly exploring an initial public offering for its Indian subsidiary, aiming to raise between $300 million to $400 million. This move aligns with a surge of multinational firms listing their Indian operations to tap into robust investor demand. The company manages popular brands like Fossil and Skadden alongside licensed names. Hyundai Motor is injecting a massive Rs 45,000 crore into India by 2030, marking its most ambitious growth plan yet. This significant investment will fuel capacity expansion, local R&D, and new product launches, including its Genesis luxury brand. Hyundai aims to solidify India as a core global strategy pillar, emphasizing its commitment to the market's growing demand and engineering talent. The Andhra Pradesh government approved two Raymond Group investments totaling Rs 940 crore in aerospace and automotive manufacturing under Industrial Development Policy 4.0. JK Maini Global Aerospace will invest Rs 510 crore in Satyasai district, creating 1,400 jobs, while JK Maini Precision Technology will invest Rs 430 crore in Gudipalli, generating 4,096 jobs. Pune-based TCC Concept said its board has approved the acquisition of Pepperfry, an omni-channel furniture and home goods platform, in a share swap deal. The transaction follows a period of slow growth for Pepperfry, which reported a decline in operating revenue in financial year 24 as it focused on reducing losses through cost controls. Earlier in June, the company raised funding from General Electric Pension Trust and existing investors to support its operations and growth plans. Private equity and venture capital investments in India have touched a 3-year high of $26 billion, underscoring renewed global confidence in India's economic trajectory. While investment inflows have accelerated, exit activity has softened. The value of exits in calendar year 2025 dropped to a 4-year low of $11 billion, down from $20 billion in 2024, $17 billion in 2023, and $20 billion in 2022. A $500 million lawsuit filed by US-based NatSoft and Updraft Software against Hexaware Technologies in the United States has highlighted the growing intellectual property risks that Indian companies face as they transition from traditional outsourcing to platform-led and product-driven models. This lawsuit represents part of a broader trend of rising IP disputes in the tech industry. In recent years, Indian IT majors such as Infosys and Cognizant have faced legal challenges over alleged misuse of proprietary technology or breach of software licensing terms. Global capability centers are set to lease 50 to 55 million square feet of office space by financial year 27. This will boost India's top property markets significantly. The number of GCCs is expected to grow to over 2,500 by 2030. These centers are evolving into innovation hubs, driving demand for tech-enabled and green spaces. India's cost competitiveness and talent pool attract global firms. Hyundai Motor Company is set to elevate its operations in India with a monumental investment of Rs 45,000 crore by financial year 30. The ambitious plan includes launching 26 innovative products, focusing on cutting-edge electric SUVs and hybrid models. Under the leadership of Tarun Garg as MD and CEO, Hyundai Motor India Limited aims to revolutionize the automotive landscape. Nestlé is cutting 16,000 jobs globally as the Swiss food giant cuts costs as part of its efforts to revive its financial performance. Nestlé is also fighting external headwinds like other food makers, including rising commodity costs and the negative impact of tariffs. The company said in July that it offset higher coffee and cocoa-related costs with price increases. The job cuts are expected to achieve annual savings of 1 billion Swiss francs or $1.25 billion by the end of next year. As India's stature as a hub for global capability centers or GCCs grows, a quiet revolution is underway with the rise of global legal and compliance centers or GLCCs. Far from being mere support bases, GLCCs are emerging as engines of legal innovation and governance excellence. By delivering strategic value to multinational corporations while deepening India's legal ecosystem. At present, about 10% of India's 1,800 GCCs host dedicated legal and compliance functions, translating to about 180 operational GLCCs across the country. Quick commerce platform Zepto on Thursday announced it has closed a $450 million financing round in a mix of primary and secondary transactions, led by the US-based pension fund California Public Employees Retirement System. The latest funding round values the company at $7 billion, a significant jump from its $5 billion valuation during its last fundraise in 2024. India is actively seeking partnerships with Russian companies to secure vital rare earth magnets and critical minerals, aiming to reduce dependence on China. This strategic move follows Beijing's recent export curbs impacting key industries. Indian firms and research institutions are evaluating Russian processing technologies with potential collaborations involving state-run giants like Nornickel and Rosatom. JSW Infrastructure will invest Rs 4,000 crore in its port operations and Rs 1,500 crore in its logistics arm in financial year 26. This spending will support both organic and inorganic growth. The company reported a profit after tax decline of 3.5% for the June quarter. Total revenue increased by 26% year-on-year. Lenskart launches its initial public offering next month. It could be among India's largest new age listings. Founders Piyush Bansal, Neha Bansal, Amit Chaudhary and Sumit Kapahi will be selling a portion of their shares along with investors such as SoftBank, Premji Invest, Temasek, Kedara Capital and Alpha Wave Global. The total size of the IPO, which includes both fresh shares and an offer for sale component, is expected to be between Rs 7,500 and Rs 8,000 crore. Arun Kumar, founder of Strides Group and OneSource, has secured Rs 1,000 crore by pledging shares. This move refinances existing loans, extending maturities and simplifying repayments. The transaction aims to consolidate smaller borrowings into larger, long-term facilities. It reflects a broader effort to clean up promoters' balance sheet and shows a decline in pledging shares, indicating deleveraging. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has released a comprehensive master circular that consolidates all existing directions and guidelines governing the issue and listing of various debt instruments. The circular consolidates all relevant directions and amendments up to June 30th, 2025. It will serve as a primary reference document for all matters related to the issuance and listing of non-convertible and debt securities henceforth. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has announced an extension of the compliance deadline for angel funds registered under the Alternative Investment Funds regulations. The earlier deadline of October 15, 2025 for complying with disclosure norms related to investment allocation methodology has now been extended to January 31, 2026. From February 1, 2026 onwards, any new investment allocations made by existing angel funds must strictly follow the defined allocation methodology as disclosed in their private placement memorandum. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.